Hi Holly. Bonsoir tout le monde. On est dans les locaux de Hachette et on accueille Holly Black. Donc c'est celle qui a écrit Le Peuple de l'air. Donc vous avez Le Prince Cruel, Le Roi Maléfique et La Reine sans Royaume. Moi c'est Eva. Et vous avez peut-être vu mes vidéos sur le fameux dernier tome, La Reine sans Royaume. Est-ce que vous vous attendiez à un tel accueil de la part des lecteurs français?
No, I mean, I am very grateful. I know that French readers are different from readers in any other country who have very refined tastes. And so I very much appreciate you liking my book.
Quel est votre tome préféré?
The Wicked King. I think that people have an idea that second books are either much harder to write or they're this kind of lull. But I love second books. First books are all set up. You have to introduce the characters, you have to introduce the world, you have to introduce the conflict. And then third books, you have a lot of bills to pay. But second books are pure character torture from end to end. They are always my favorite book in the series to write. I think they are the most fun to write.
Comment est venue l'idée d'écrire cette saga?
I had an idea for a high fantasy series, and in particular, I had an idea for what happens in the prologue of The Pearl Prince. I knew I wanted to write about that setup, about a girl whose human parents were killed, and she was raised in fairy, like the reverse changeling. And then I knew what I wanted to do with Cardan. During the first year of going and talking to people when A Pearl Prince came out, people used to ask me, did any character surprise you? And I could tell they were asking me, did you know what was going to happen with Cardan? And yes, absolutely, I knew from the beginning. I didn't know if I could pull it off, but I knew what I wanted to do.
Ok, donc j'ai encore une question difficile, mais on veut savoir votre personnage chouchou.
I think Jude is my favorite character, which is why she's the protagonist. I think the protagonist for me is always my favorite, and that's why I'm writing the most about them. There's characters that I really love that are hard to write, like Cardan, where everything has to be super calibrated. And so probably my favorite character to write is Matic, because I love giving that old guy advice.
En parlant de Jude, est-ce qu'elle va rester immortelle? Est-ce qu'elle va lire les lettres de Cardan?
Cardan's letters are burned, so no, she will never be able to read them.
No.
And as of now, we don't know if there's any way for a human to become immortal, so it seems that she would have a difficult time. As long as she doesn't leave fairy, though, past a certain age, she wouldn't age. And it's theoretically possible that meeting the Queen of Elfheim confers some kind of power on her. But as of now, she is mortal.
Série, est-ce que vous pensez qu'une adaptation, est-ce qu'une adaptation est possible en série, en film?
I think that Hollywood struggles with fairies. I think they think of them as being for little kids, and the examples of fairy films, especially even relatively recent ones, there's not a lot, and there's some difficulty.
Maintenant, c'est au tour de Holly Black de nous présenter ces 5 objets. C'est parti.
Object number 1 is this. This is a glass sword that my husband bought me. I'm going to try and show you it. Object 2 this is my notebook. Everything goes in my notebook. I've tried to unify and only use one notebook and not write little notes to myself all over the house that I lose. So this is very precious to me. Object number 3. So this is my physical planner, which I got obsessed with over the pandemic. This is a picture of my son when he was little. He's got a weird hat on. I love a little bowler hat, and so I like having it in here. This
Oula.
is. Let's see if I
Chucky.
can a little bit.
Is it Chucky?
This is a Korean ball jointed doll.
Maintenant, on va passer à un petit jeu. Donc, on commence par le premier personnage. Mensonge, stratégie et courage.
I'm gonna go with Jude.
Yeah. Ok, un autre personnage. Protecteur, violent, pouvoir.
Mac.
Madoc.
Oui. Est-ce que c'est difficile de dire au revoir à ces personnages quand on finit d'écrire un livre?
Sometimes, especially because a lot of times I feel like I have only gotten to know them, especially when it's a standalone book. I feel like, oh, I finally know you, and now I'm leaving. One of the reasons that I wanted to write Folk of the Air is that I wanted to have to stop meeting new characters and then leaving them.
Est-ce que vous envisagez une suite ou un autre projet en rapport toujours avec le peuple de l'air?
I'm working on a book called The Stolen Air, and it is not a direct sequel. But it is also set in Afghan.
Est-ce que vous aimeriez vivre à Terrafé?
No. Fairy is. I don't think that I would do well in fairy. I mean, I know the rules, and that would certainly be an advantage to me, but I think that I would make a lot of mistakes. I wouldn't want to live in any of my books.
Je serais tuée direct. Hein.
I think I would be killed straight away, says Eva.
Est-ce que vous êtes déjà venu en France et est-ce que vous envisagez de revenir si vous êtes déjà venu ou de venir tout simplement?
I have been to France, and I would love to come back and actually see people this time, because usually I just go out there and write. Well, in fact, I have a French cat. This is absolutely true. We were at a writing retreat in Provence, and a cat followed us. And by us, I mean two of my friends who are not me, back to our house. And then my husband and Cassie Claire fed the cat. Was kind of a grunty, kind of dirty, sad cat. And then we wound up realizing we had to do something with this cat when we went home. So we took it to a vet, and we got it a cat passport. We made sure it wasn't chipped or it wasn't someone's cat. It was kind of a teenage, kittenish cat, and I got a cat passport and moved to my house now.
Et du coup, maintenant, on va passer à la petite surprise. Donc, le 9 novembre 2022, vous avez ce livre, donc il est affiché, vous devez le voir, qui sort en français. Et là, on va voir le titre en français, qui est « Comment le prince Cardan en est venu à détester les histoires ». Donc là, vous pouvez le voir. Vous pouvez nous dire pourquoi vous avez écrit celui-là?
So when I imagined this series, because I knew it was going to be all from Jude's point of view, I did want to write something short that was from Cardan's point of view, where we got to see some of the answers to some of the questions that we inevitably ask, because he behaves in a way that is hard to interpret. And so I wanted to tell that story, and I am so excited that not only did I get to tell it, but that Ravina Kai illustrated it, because I think her art makes it feel bigger and richer than it would ever otherwise.
Merci d'avoir répondu à nos questions et merci d'avoir été présent sur le live.
Thank you so much for having me. And hopefully I'll see you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.